Welcome to this video. Today we will learn what is an if statement and how you can make your code make decision in Python. So that will be an interesting video. I want you to watch this video until the end and let's get started, right? Okay. An if statement allows a program to make a decision. Okay, it executes code only when a condition is true. For example, let's say if we have this variable called age equal 20, right? And we can say if age, okay, superior or equal at 18, we need to make a decision if that is true. We say print you are an adult, okay? If that is true. So let's run that code to see what will be happening, and then I'll explain. You see in the console, you see you are an adult. Okay, that is amazing to see. So the if statement allows us to make a decision based on certain conditions. Okay, so a program needs to make a decision all the time. For example, if you have like a logging system, an ATM machine, or game, or like an online store, they need to verify. For example, let's say if you go to an ATM and then you put your PIN, okay? You put your PIN, the system will need to verify if it is correct, okay? They use an if statement for that. And without an if statement, okay, without if statement, program would not be able to react to different situations, okay? For example, let me say, okay, temperature, okay, equal like 30. And then I can say if temperature is inferior at 25, I can say print uh it it is hot today. Okay, it is hot today. Okay, in that case, I will make a decision based on this condition. Okay, so this code will run. Okay, this code will run only if this one is true. If this one is false, this one will not run. Okay, let me run the code so you can have a better idea. You see, it says that it is a hot day. It is hot today. I'm sorry, it is a hot today. But if I say if I change this to 10, okay, so 10 does not superior at 25. Let's see what will happen. Let's see if it will print that to the console. Okay, you see it does not print it is a hard day because 10 does not superior at 25. This is what I mentioned. I mentioned that the condition, okay, this condition, okay, must be true in order for the if for the code for the body of the if statement to be executed. This is the body of the if statement, and the if statement should be true. This condition should be true in order for this one to be executed. Okay, you need to keep this in your mind. Okay, so let's see some basic syntax. For example, if we say okay, the remember right here we have a semicolon, right? If we remove that semicolon, it will give us an error. And then let's see what will be printed to the console. It says syntax error, expected semicolon, and then it gives us an idea it is expected right here. Okay, it is expected right here. So if we forget, if by any chance that happens, okay, that might happen, we forget that that semicolon, it will give us an error. Okay, so always keep this in your mind. And then when you are using an if statement, just to let you know, the indentation is required, and it is extremely important to use indentation, because if you do not use indentation, your code will not be executed. Because after the if statement, when the if statement becomes like true, or Python needs to know what to do, what action to take. Okay, so in that case, indentation is extremely important. So you should use indentation. Okay, So just a quick review. If you haven't if you have not yet learned about data type, about how to create a variable, I want you to go back to watch the previous videos about like how to create your own variables, data type, and what if like an indentation in Python. We have already created videos about this kind of a subject. Okay, so Python uses indentation to know which code belongs to the if statement. Okay, for example, if we do this, it will give us an error. Okay, it will give us an error because the Python needs, okay, to know which code belongs to the if statement. In that situation, Python does not know which code belongs to the if statement. In order for us to let Python know which code belongs to the if statement, we need to indent that code that code. Okay, like I mentioned, the body of that if statement should be indented. Indentation means like we need to give it like at you can give it two spaces, but most programmers use like four spaces, or you can just use the tab like a button, and then everything will be indented automatically for you. But one thing to keep in mind, if for example you are writing multiple multiple code in the body, or multiple actions to be executed in the body of the if statement, if you use tab for one, you should use tab for all of them. It is not like a requirement, but that might happen. It causes like some error in your code because they might not indented like quite very well. For example, if you use the tab keyword for one line and you use the four spaces for one line, that might cause like some error, and then it might be not quite efficient. So, or if you do not want to use the tab, you can just use the space button for time. You can type it 4 times, 1 2 3 4, and then the code will be indented. Okay, this is everything I want you to keep in your mind. For example, let's take another example. Let's see if I say if shoe, okay, and I say print hello, okay, and then in that situation, okay, you see, let me show you what will be printed. You see, the hello is pointed to the console, right? And then in that case, if I say, if I remove the indentation, where here Python will not know which block of code belongs to the if statement, okay? So I need to indent that code, okay? So to indent that code, I need to use four spaces, or I can use the tab keyword I4, and then I indented that code, and now that is good, and then we are good to go. Okay, so in order for Python to execute the body of the if statement, okay, the condition must be true. Okay, first Python checks the condition. If the condition is true, the code that is indented inside the if statement will be warning. If the condition is false, the code will be skipped. Okay, so that is what you need to keep in your mind. And then if you have any question regarding to this, feel free to let me know, and then or leave a comment, tell me what you do not understand. If I need to create another video to explain that to you, I'll take my time to do that. Okay, but let's say if it is not true, okay, if it is not true, that might happen, it falls, but there is a way for us to take care of that. We need to know when it is not true, if it is false, what to do. Let me take an example. Let's say if uh we'd say today, if it is winning, I will not go out. But what if it is not winning? What you'll be doing? You'll go out. So we need to handle both cases. If it is true, we do this. If it is false, we do this, right? So this is where the else statement comes in. And the else statement wants when the condition of the if statement is false. Okay, so let's take an example. If the temperature is superior at 25 when it is hot today, else we can use an else statement to say, okay, if it is not superior at 10, we say it is cold today. Okay, let's see what will be printed to the console. Okay. Okay, you see, we have it is cold today. Let me comment this code so we don't get confused about the result. Okay, you see now it says it is cold today. You see, it is cold today. So that is extremely important. Okay, so this condition is false, right? Because the temperature is 10. 10 does not superior at 25. This is false. As soon as this is false, as soon as this condition, I'm sorry, as soon as this condition is false, this code will not be executed, okay? And then it will move to this line and then it will execute this code. But if this condition is true, okay? If this condition is true, this code will be executed and then and then everything will be done. Okay, so nothing, it will not like run this code because that is true. It just do this and then break the code, nothing else. Okay, will be done. So I hope you learn about how you can use the if statement and the else statement today. And let's take another example. It is possible, so we can take another example, right? Let's take this example. So let me copy it and paste it right here. And then I say if age is superior at or equal at 20, we say print you an adult. But what if the age is not superior or equal to 18? What we do? We can use an else statement to say print you are not an adult. That is quite simple and easy. You are not an adult. Okay. And then with that being said, let's point it to the console. You see, you are now the age is superior or equal at 18. So this condition is true, it will run this block of code. Okay. But let's say if the age is like 10. Okay. So I'm sorry. Okay, let's say if this condition is 10. Okay, if I have 10 right here, let's see what will be pointed to the console. Okay, now it says you are not an adult. That is amazing because this condition is false, right? Because the age is 10. 10 does not superior or equal at 18. This is false. This returns false, right? And then as soon as this one returns false, and then now this code will not be executed, and it will go to the next line, and then it will execute the code in the else statement. This is what you need to keep in your mind. Okay. And then we will have some exercise at the end of the video so we can have a better idea. Let me take another example before we move to the next step. Let's say if I call password equal like Python. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is this is a bad password. Okay, never write a password like that. Never ever use this as a password. Okay, so we can now try to check some conditions. We can say if password, okay, if password equal, okay, equal to Python 3, what we do, we can say okay, print access granted. Okay, you grant the access. Okay, and then else, what we do, else we can say print access denied. Okay, access. I can write it right, but let me write it right here. Access denied. Okay, so let's point to the console to see what will be the result. Okay, access granted because this one is true. Access is granted. So you have access to learn Python and to become an amazing Python developer. Okay, so but what if? Okay, what if we have multiple conditions to check? What if we have multiple conditions to check? Let's see if we do not have only like the if else condition, we have like multiple ones to check. This is where another statement is coming and which is the elif statement. Okay, so in case we have more question, or we have more statement, more conditions to check, okay, we can use something called the elif statement. Python comes with that. So Python gives us that choice, okay? So it is elif, but you will not write elif, you will just write l elif, okay? This is what you will just write. Let's say, let me comment this code. Let's say we have like a grade, okay? We have what example we can take? We can take an example. Let's take this example. Let's say if we say grade equal to 85. Okay, 85. And we can say if grade is superior or equal at 90. Okay, what we do, we say print A. You got an A. If you got more than 90, if you got 90 or more, you got like an A. Now we need to check more conditions that might happen. We need to check for 65, 75, 50, 40, 10, etc. in order to print a different message to the console, in order to do a certain like in order for a certain condition to be running. So let's say if you want to say LF, okay, grade is superior or equal at 80. Okay, because now we have multiple conditions to check. So this is this is where you can use the elif statement as well. Okay, so we can say elif grade superior at 80. We can say print you gotta be, okay, and then after that we can check something else. We can say elif grade is inferior or equal at 50. Okay, we can say print cycle. Let me give D to that one. Okay, you got a D. You got a C. Let me give it a C. You got a C. Okay, and then at the end, if none of these conditions are true, okay, let's say if grade is like equal to 50, let's say equal to 50 instead, and then else we say if else, because after all these conditions have been checking, if none of them are true, the else statement will be warning. We can say, okay, you got an F. Let me tell you how that works. Okay, so in that situation, what will happen? First, Python will check these conditions, okay? If that condition return false, this one will be checking. If that condition returns false, this one will be warning. If that condition returns false, this one will be warning. And if any, for example, if this condition, okay, if this condition returns like true, this one will be warning. Okay, so let's see what will be pointed to the console. Okay, so you see it is like a B. Let me print this message. You got a B. You got a B. Let me print this to the console. You see, you got a B because first, this condition is the grade superior or equal at 90. No, this is false. So this because this condition is false, the block of this block of code that is indented inside this if statement will not be running, right? Okay, now Python will go to the next line. Okay, because Python will check the conditions from top to bottom. Okay, so Python will check this one first, this condition first. If this one is false, okay, this one the code inside the if statement will not be running. Okay, if this one is okay, Python will now go and check this code, which is like grade superior or equal at 80. Yes, grade is superior or equal at 80. Now it says you got a B. That is because, and then this code is true, right? This condition is true, and then it wants the block of the I'm sorry. Yes, the block of the code. So in that conditions, we got you got a B on the console, and then now after the condition has been true, it returns and nothing will be executed else. Okay. So I hope you got a better idea. Let's say if this one equal like 45. Let's say what will be printed. Okay. Let's see. Okay. You see what will be printed? It says you got an F because first is 45 superior or equal at 90? No, this not will this one will not be running. If this condition is false, why? Because 45 does not superior or equal at 90. This condition will return false because 45 does not superior or equal at 80. And this condition will return false because 45 does not equal to 50. Now, has none of these conditions have been returned true, or has been none of these conditions have been returned true. So now the else condition will be running, and then that will be the what will be pointed to the console. Okay, so let me take a real world, a real world scenario. Like, let's say if you're crossing the street, okay, I can give it the name of light. I can say, okay, the light is yellow, okay? And now we can write some conditions, right? We can write some conditions to know when to cross the street. We can say if light, I'm sorry, if light equal yellow, okay, if light equal yellow, what we can do, we can say no, point, slow down. Slow down, it is not time yet to cross the street, okay? Slow down. Now we can use on the if statement, if light equal green, what we do, if light equal green, what we do, we say, okay, yes, I'm sorry guys, we can say yes, is give me 1 minute right here. Okay, if light is green, okay, we can say print. It's time for you to cross the street. We can say go. You can go. Let me say you can go. You can go. Okay. And then now, if the light is not yellow and the light is not green, so we will use an else. Okay, and that's it. We can say okay, point, stop. Okay, stop, because the light might be like, oh, the light will be red in that situation. You cannot cross the street with a red light. Okay, okay. So let's see what will be printed to the console. We do not comment the previous code, guys. I hope that will not bother you. But keep in mind what we have right here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. You see, slow down, because the light is yellow, right? It says slow down, and let's change it to green. Let's change it to green to see what will be pointed to the console. Let's change it to green. Okay, you see, it says you can go. That is how the if statement works in Python. Okay. Okay, I hope you have learned a lot of things. Now, what we do, we will review something called the logical operators with Python, so you can have a better idea of why I use double equal sign right here instead of one. Since we have already made a video regarding to logical operators, and then I want you, if you haven't watched this video yet, I want you to go back to watch this video after watching this one, or you can pause this video, go watch the other video where I explain how the logical operators work in Python. Okay, for example, if we have age equal 20, okay, and if we have like, this one means we assign the 20 to the age. That is the value. Okay, that will be the value of the variable age. Okay, and then if we want to check a conditions, if we want to check if age equal to like 10, we cannot use the this only sign. We need to use a double sign. We can say if age, we cannot say if age equal 20. equal 30. No, this will not work. Okay. Okay, so in that case, we need to use a double sign, and then this one will work, and then we will print our message. We can say print, you are 30. Amazing, you are 30. Okay, we can use that one. So this is what I want you to keep in mind, okay? And then another thing is, let me comment this code. I will get back to it in a few minutes, okay? The logical operators as well, we have seen, I have created this variable. Let's see if we create another variable called is ticket, okay? Has ticket equal to. Now remember, if you have watched the previous video regarding the logical operators, you will know that for if when we are using the AND, okay, the AND logical operator, for that to return true, both of the conditions should be true. If we say if age superior or equal, superior or equal at 18 and has ticket, okay, and has ticket, we say print, you can enter. Okay, you can enter. Now we can use an else statement. We don't need to use an if statement. Okay, we can use an else statement to say print. Okay, you cannot enter. Okay, so remember the age is equals to 20 right here. Let me cut it and put it and come with it right here. Okay, so let's see what will be printed to the console. Okay, you can enter because the age is 20 and has ticket is true. If we change this one to false, let's see what will be printed. Remember, in a logical operator, for like when we use the AND, for the condition to return true, both of the conditions should be true. Okay, both of the operators should be true. I'm sorry. Okay, it says you cannot enter because the age is 20 and the has ticket is false. So this part should be, I'm sorry, this part of the code should be, this part of the condition should be true, and this part of the condition should be true. So in order for it to return true, when it comes to a logical operator, keep this in mind, okay? I have already been talking about when you forgot the semicolon. Okay, you should never do that. You should never forget the semicolon. And then also you should always make sure your code are indented, fully indented. And then if you do not indent your code, as you have seen, it will give you an error. So it is always good to make sure you have the same semicolon, and then your code are indented fully. Okay, now let's try to do some exercises. Okay, what we will do, we will try to let me get an exercise for you. Let me try. We have already seen a lot of things, right? Let's take a score. As I love watching soccer, guys. I'm sorry. I love watching soccer. I can say score is 82. Okay. And then I can say if a score is superior or equal at 90, okay, print like you win. You win. Okay. And then I can say LF score equal superior or equal at 80 at 75. I can say 75 point. You almost win. This is just an example. Okay, you almost win. And then let's say if we can say else we can say you lose. Remember, this is just an example. We can say you lose. Okay, so let's see what will be printed to the console. Remember the score, the value of the score. Okay, and then let's print this to the console. Okay, it says you almost win because what is the score? The score is 80, like 82. Okay, and this condition, because the score is not greater than 90, so this one will return false, and then this code will not be, this condition will return false, and this code will not be executed. And has the score is greater than or equal at 75, this condition will be true, and this code will be executed. Okay, so I hope you have learned a lot of things today. This is how you can use an if statement to make your code make decision, and then you can use the elif statement in case the elif statement. Let me review this one with you. The elif statement is a combination of the else, okay, and the if, but they do not write like else if. In another programming language like JavaScript, you will write it, but in Python just use this short uh, statement for it. Okay, so this is what I wanted you to know. Now I believe you can start writing your first Python program, and then in the next coming videos we will see something more. We will see how you can use list, how you can use a loop and Python, etc. We will be learning a lot of things, so do not forget to follow me for more. If you're watching this video on Facebook, if you're watching this video on YouTube, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you do not miss the next videos, because we will be creating more YouTube, more Python videos for beginners. This is a video for complete beginners. So if you want to learn more, if you want to learn Python to become a web developer, a data scientist for cybersecurity, this is an amazing YouTube channel for you. Thank you guys for watching this video. Ciao.